This will be on Kendall McNash, Walton.
You start off with where you were born.
Huh?
Where you were born.
The way I was born?
Where you were born.
That's a standard way, I thought. Where? Lafayette, Indiana, where everybody is ugly. Through and through. I only lived there for about 2 days. That was in transit into Kentucky, where people don't particularly do anything much besides sit around and drink, race horses, and breed.
So, you grew up in Kentucky?
I grew up in Kentucky, too.
You want to talk about your childhood now?
My childhood. I had a very unpleasant childhood. I was born a lonely orphan. My mother died a couple of years before I was born in 1955. My father was killed in World War II. Because of those unusual circumstances and being a test tube baby, I was ineligible for Social Security, so I had to literally grow up in the streets. A real fighting man. However, when the hippie movement came along with all their drugs and rock and roll, I decided to become a pacifist and drink lots of beer.
When did you go to Cairo in your life? How old were you?
Celebrated my 9th birthday? Yeah, 9th birthday, I guess, in Washington, D.C. In 1964, and we flew from there to New York, looked around there, watched the World's Fair, wore holes in our shoes, geeking at all the exhibits, and we flew from there to Cairo. Stayed for about 9 or 10 months.
What kind of interesting things happened in Cairo?
Interesting or legal?
Well, one and the same.
I got to ride a camel.
That's something most American kids don't do. What was your recreation in Cairo as a child?
We used to make water balloons out of paper, and instead of putting water in them, we would piss in them and throw them at people off the balcony. We're 14 flights up in the apartment building, and there was 30 floors to the whole building, metric floors. You know, the ceilings were 10 feet high, so it was a rather large building. But throwing things off the balcony was good for rainy days, and since it really never did rain at any time over there, it was good just about rain or shine.
After Cairo, where'd you move back to the United States?
Moved back home.
Kentucky?
Yeah, right at the foothills of the White Trash Mountains in Lexington, Kentucky. Your gateway to Mammoth Cave.
What were your first experiences with women?
Acne. Probably. This can't be part of a legitimate interview, that's getting kind of personal.
Alright.
First experiences with women? Playboy magazine? I don't know, I guess there was we used to play doctor a lot when I was a kid. A couple of voluptuous little girls in the neighborhood. Well, that was when I was, back in my early 20s, I used to do that. I'm still a virgin.
So how much schooling did you get in Kentucky?
I don't have any schools in Kentucky.
Well, where'd you go to school?
It wasn't until I came down in Texas. I think I was about 21. They don't let you out of the state of Kentucky until you're 21. And you have to pass an illiteracy test. You have to be able to walk around barefoot. Winter, summer, fall, spring. You have to be able to play the banjo. And you can't speak a word of English. That's part of the illiteracy test. You communicate in Kentucky by a series of grunts and normal bodily sounds like flatulation, burping, head scratching, a lot of head scratching.
So you're a musician?
Not by choice, by necessity. Like I said, you have to be able to play the banjo or they won't let you out of the state of Kentucky. So I came down here and I worked my way through San Antonio College, or Strategic Air Command, or Spanish American College, whatever you want to call it, SAC. Had 5-6 hour breaks in between classes, and spent all my time playing pool and playing the banjo. I got real good at pool. What kind of grades I make?
Well, what classes did you take?
General education requirements. History. We get in college, they show you the same junior high school, or elementary school. They got the same dorky-looking scientist in there, and he adds some ground-up garbage in this little flask and looks at it like, you know, is this a test for chlorophyll? No, we're going to add some hydrochloric acid. Put it in there, and it all starts turning green and then to red real quick. You know, he looks fascinated. Photosynthesis. This is the earthworm, part of the nitrogen cycle.
So were you impressed with the Texas education system?
Yeah. It's where I met my the girl that I was engaged to was at San Antonio College. I didn't spend any time studying, really. I spent all my time chasing her around and around in the bed. Caught her a few times, too. South Dakota farm girl. Never forget the time I was writing an English paper, which was a traumatic experience for me, being from Kentucky, and I asked her if she could give me a little help with it, and she said, "Well, sure. I graduated, you know, the head of the class in English, highest marks, you know." I said, I was impressed, you know. I was very impressed. Wow, head of the class. And about 6 months later, I saw her high school graduation picture, man. All 8 of them, including her twin sister. 8 people in her high school, senior class. 8. You know, Jesus.
Not hard to graduate high.
So that explains my poor marks in English when I was down at San Antonio College.
After college, what did you do? You're a mechanic, aren't you?
Yeah, sometimes. Got a longer nose. Anybody for an open faced sandwich on white bread? Green and clear. Yeah. Mechanic, right.
So what job did you move into after you got done with college?
Well, I hated college so much that I got a job as an apprentice furniture refinisher with Marino. What's his name? Jesse Marino. Down there on Fredericksburg Road, way down on Fredericksburg Road. You know, I was making 75 cents an hour with 10 cent an hour raise every 80 hours. And by the time I quit him, I was all the way up to $1.65 an hour.
Pretty promising job.
It was just great. You have no idea how much you learn standing around and sanding, you know, all day long for 8 hours. It's great.
Well, what happened after that?
Well, let's see. I quit. Didn't do much of anything for a little while. And then Karen and I moved into an apartment on South Seas. And I was looking for a job, trying to get a job in an arts and crafts store. Easy work, you know. Selling paints and materials. See, when I was in high school, we did a lot of painting and crap like that. What? Oh. And we lived happily in that apartment for about 6 days. And her Air Force recruiter called her up and said that they had a position open for her, but they couldn't guarantee exactly what after she got out of basic training she'd be assigned to. She wanted to go to nursing school, see. So that's why she was interested in being in the Air Force. So she went into basic training in April, I guess, 80 or 75? Somewhere around in there. April or May. And they shipped her off to Altus, Oklahoma as a warehouseman.
And you haven't seen her since?
Oh, she came down a couple times to visit. And I went up there once to visit her. And it was really exciting. Altus, Oklahoma, gateway to the asshole of the universe.
Well, what's it with your arts and crafts job that you almost...
thought I was kidding about not having any schools in Kentucky. Well, that's not exactly true, and most people know that. But in Altus, Oklahoma, you have to drive 500 miles to get to a decent school. There are no colleges in southern Oklahoma. It is an armpit, man. Don't let anybody ever talk you to go. You know what an armpit of the universe is like. You live in Nebraska, man. That's worse than Indiana. Alright.
Wasn't it with your job as an arts and crafts person that you almost had an adventure one time hitting a deer?
Yeah. I hit I'd say about a 6-point rack, going 79 miles an hour.
And you didn't have your license for deer hunting at the time either, right?
No, I didn't. But I had my driver's license, and that's good enough. Yeah, I bagged a good one. Got him with the passenger side bumper front. I wasn't going in reverse now. And there's that Walt Disney deer, you know, the little orphan deer.
Oh, Bambi?
Yeah, that's right. At least I think that was who it was, because when I hit it, it went BAM! Went flying up over the top of the hood and went screaming past those big, pitiful deer eyes, crying in excruciating pain, its hindquarters twisted and mangled with steel and broken headlight glass. I was sick. I was just sure I'd wrecked the front of the car. And got up in there, I guess maybe Three Rivers or George West, and pulled over in a parking lot where it was lit so I could see what happened to it. And it didn't hurt the car hardly at all. Just took a little of the plastic trim and bent it and banged it up a little bit. But by and large, the car was okay.
So, how long did you stick with that job?
A couple of years.
And after that, what did you move into?
11th floor, Bexar County Hospital in the ward.
No, really. What became your occupation then?
I went to UTSA.
Again? Oh, no.
That was Spanish American College.
Right. And what did you major in there? Writing?
Well, I liked English an awful lot. So I was taking a bunch of English classes, and I was also interested in sociology. I was not interested in any of the college counselors, so I didn't talk to any of them when I was preparing my my class schedule. So rather than take the 1,000, see, there's, you know, you got 4-year programs for your BAs and whatever over there, and the classes, you know, 1,000 level class is what you're supposed to take in your sophomore year and our freshman year rather, and then 2,000, you know, for sophomores, and freshmen 3,000 and seniors 4,000 level. It's supposed to be like that. And I didn't know anything about that shit. I just thought 4,000 meant, you know, what floor it was on. And so I was taking like 3,000 level English literature courses, and, you know, 4,000 level sociology courses and stuff like that. And my grade point average the first semester wasn't too hot. I was only taking 9 hours. I was still working at the time, full time.
So what happened after you finished UTSA?
I got another job for minimum wage and farted around for about 9 months. I hated it. It was a factory job.
And after that, what'd you do?
I wrecked that Volkswagen that I worked so hard to pay for. And I took the insurance money and travel around the United States for about 4 months.
See? And then you came back to San Antonio?
Mm-hmm. Eventually.
And when did you move into work at the Conrads?
About 2 months after I got back from San Antonio, I guess.
And you've been currently employed there for about 2 years now?
Is this a job interview or what? Yeah, the beer's pretty good. Though today I had one hell of a hangover.
What do you
But
think?
yeah, I don't have to tell you about that. You already know about the beer supply out here.
So, what do you think of the opportunities that you can get from the Conrads?
Oh, well, for contracting feline diseases, I imagine those opportunities are pretty good. I kind of enjoyed it. I've learned how to do a lot of stuff out here that I didn't really know how to do before.
Well, do you have anything that you can tell anybody who might read this? Any points or any hints on the future?
Well, yeah, don't be born in Indiana.
What is it that you plan to do in the future?
My plans to do in the future? Well, the future is a long way out.
So whatever happens, happens.
Oh, I don't know. I'm probably going to move up to the Braunfels here pretty quick.
What do you think about the Conrad soup?
It's terrific. I recommend it to young squirts like you. Put hair on your chest and your tongue.
Okay, well, thank you, Ken.